domestic violence,
willful intimidation,
physical assault,
battery,
sexual assault,
and or other abusive behavior perpetrated by an intimate partner against another.
Domestic violence, to me, it is not just physical, it is emotional, mental, verbal, spiritual, and financial abuse, and it's forced. And a lot of people tend to get that mixed up because they focus on just the physical. But beyond all of that, domestic violence, it is a process. It's not something that just happens. It's something that is consistent within that relationship.
Violence against women is often accompanied by emotional, abusive, and controlling behavior, and thus is part of a systematic pattern of dominance and control.
I can't let it affect me because of my job. I can't take it personally. And like I said, I've been doing this 28 years. It hadn't affected me that much, but like I said, it bothers me when I see a man put his hands on a woman. It bothers me, but I can't. Being in my profession, I can't take it personally.
Domestic violence is the worst act a person can do to another person. Worse than killing, worse than drug addiction, because domestic violence is about power and control, which means someone trusted you with their life or their abilities or their love, and you totally abused that love and disrespected what they chose to trust you with.
It's like, well, it happened in your house, keep it in your house.
It's nothing new. It's one of the oldest criminal acts ever.
The what is amazing to me is that it's still secretive, it's still a silent issue, it's still seen as a private matter.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, ricochet, you take your aim. Fire away, shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. Shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium.
Wait until the flowers start blooming to get motivated. Spring break is right around the corner, so let's get those bodies in shape. Beach bodies are made in the winter so you can show them off in the summer. Come on up to Wiley Wilcox or Tiger Arena and tighten up those glutes and abs. Remember, if you take care of your body will take care of you.
If you're looking to have a great time, Savannah's nightlife is back, calling all SCAD, Armstrong, and Savannah State students to the hottest bar in the city. Dosha Lounge is open 6 days a week until 3 a.m. Yes, I said it, 3 a.m. Bright lights, comfortable couches, and a cool atmosphere. Did we mention the full Top Chef bar with reasonable prices? Happy hour, 4 to 8, Monday through Friday. So come see us at 128 East Broughton Street today. We'll have a shot waiting for you.
The 2014 football season is quickly approaching. Don't want to wait in line? Purchase your season tickets today. Single seats starting at only $8 and season seats starting at $55. You can order tickets online at ssuthletics.com, by phone, mail, or in person at SSU Athletics ticket office in Tiger Arena. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Sav State Tigers. We know how much you love Tiger football, so don't hesitate to buy those season tickets. Get them before they sell out. See you at the 50-yard line.
Society has come, it's a silent thing. It's like, well, it happened in your house, keep it in your house. Over the past couple years, I would say it's coming out of saying, you know, this is a bad thing. A lot of people are getting punished for it. But it's actually glamorized in other avenues of it. So reality TV is glamorizing all this violence. Then you have home TV, you know, that's like, no, this is not acceptable. This is what it is. But you have to look at the teenagers and the children that we work with, the families that we work with. What are they actually especially what I have here, I'm seeing that they're not going to those TV shows. They're more of, you know, the reality stuff. What's actually going on? Like, how can I do this? How can I do that? So it's not really benefiting it until something pops off, something happens that they actually have to address something that's going on. And then it's a short period of time. And then it's like, okay, it's over. It happened, it's over, move on. But domestic violence isn't something that just happens that one time. It's time to move on. It just keeps going.
Domestic violence truly is a societal issue. It is also a health issue. It affects society because so many people are not going to work. So many people are not working to potential. So many people deal with the morale of the company, not producing in the way that they can produce. It affects society in the way children perform in school or do not perform in school. So it affects us in every aspect of our lives, particularly in our communities, with the way so much violence is going on in our communities. And so domestic violence really is not a private matter. It really is a societal issue, and it should be dealt with as such.
Domestic violence has been around for years. It's nothing new. It's one of the oldest criminal acts ever. The problem with it is it's actually not a criminal act because it's with your intimate partner, so to speak. So if I go down the street and I beat a person to a pulp, I'm going to jail. And I'm probably going to jail for a long time. But if I beat my girlfriend to a pulp, I might be in jail for a week. Maybe. Maybe not. I might lose my job if they don't find out. So domestic violence is to a spouse is equivalent to a speeding ticket in the court of law. That's not cool. So the powers that be are writing these laws and writing these rules, and society is being affected by it because there's no outlet. There's no outlet, and there's no true punishment or true crime for a person who's the abuser or the abusee. And I think that's how it's affecting society. It's allowing people to have less accountability and not taking responsibility for who they say they love.
For 40 years, right, when the movement started 40 years ago, there wasn't a lot of talk, there wasn't a lot of awareness, there wasn't a lot of education. And so that's out there. It's out there quite readily. The but is, it's amazing to me, is that it's still secretive, it's still a silent issue, it's still seen as a private matter. And people really minimize domestic violence and believing that it only affects that individual, not understanding that domestic violence is collective, that from a collective society, we all are affected. And to see so much information to be out there in so many organizations, and we still don't talk about it as if it's an issue and a concern in our communities, in our homes, in our schools, in our businesses. That is really interesting of how do we get to the mainstream average folk to help them understand that this is an issue that needs to be talked about.
If you're looking to have a great time, Savannah's nightlife is back, calling all SCAD, Armstrong, and Savannah State students to the hottest bar in the city. Dosha Lounge is open 6 days a week until 3 a.m. Yes, I said it, 3 a.m. Bright lights, comfortable couches, and a cool atmosphere. Did we mention the full Top Chef bar with reasonable prices? Happy hour, 4 to 8, Monday through Friday. So come see us at 128 East Broughton Street today. We'll have a shot waiting for you.
The 2014 football season is quickly approaching. Don't want to wait in line? Purchase your season tickets today. Single seats starting at only $8 and season seats starting at $55. You can order tickets online at SSUathletics.com, by phone, mail, or in person at SSU Athletics ticket office in Tiger Arena. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Sav State Tigers. We know how much you love Tiger football, so don't hesitate to buy those season tickets. Get them before they sell out. See you at the 50-yard line.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire
Wait till the flowers start blooming to get motivated. Spring break is right around the corner, so let's get those bodies in shape. Beach bodies are made in the winter so you can show them off in the summer. Come on up to Wiley Wilcox or Tiger Arena and tighten up those glutes and abs. Remember, if you take care of your body will take care of you.
A few of the things people need to understand about domestic violence on a factual basis is that 85% of abusers or perpetrators of domestic violence are men. Men perpetrate violence against women on average at 85% over a woman perpetrated violence against a man. So from that perspective, we work from the victims of majority women. That's who we usually see.
Well, I've seen in working with this business for 10 years, it affects them across the board. It could be negative, it could be positive, that they come out with a positive outcome. Every child I have come in contact with has a different take on it. You have some who are scared when they hear loud noises, that they run underneath the table. You have others who get aggressive. Even working here, I have a little boy, he's like 2. He comes around, and if he gets mad, he's throwing stuff at me. And it's like, what are you doing?
Domestic violence affects children in many different ways, particularly depending on their age and how much of the violence they have witnessed. A lot of children may not always see the physical of what their moms and dads are going through, but they may hear it. But in a lot of children, it may affect them in bedwetting. It causes social issues in how they relate socially to their peers. It causes them to always be secretive because they don't want the secret in the house to get out. It may cause them to have low self-esteem, not perform well in school. It may cause them to feel less than who they really are and just not, working to their fullest potential. And they may look for negative avenues to take out their anger or take out their frustration because they have no one to talk to. And the biggest thing it can cause, it really can cause suicide. A lot of children may template to commit suicide because they just feel like they're all alone and there's nowhere to go.
Then you have the teenagers who just don't respect their mother, or they look at any guy who approaches them like, if you say something smart to me, I'm out of here. It's an array. It goes from 0 to 100 that you would see the difference of how it affects them. And I just can't pinpoint one way. With me, it was more of, I just know that I can't tolerate being in a relationship that way. When I'm around other people and I see their children, when they're arguing, I'm like, you know what, the children need to get out of here. Because it does affect them. We just don't know how it's going to affect that particular child.
Slow down. Process what happened. Ask questions. Find out for yourself why this is happening. And as a child, you may not understand it, but later on, you will understand it. And you'll remember those questions. Because the one thing you will always remember your trauma. Don't try to misplace it. Don't try to misplace the hurt. Don't try to misplace your blame. Don't try to misplace your guilt. Bring it with you. Bring it with you, because that's how you'll get through it. The way to get through it is not to leave it where it is, because the one thing about it is going to always be there. Don't let it hold you back. Bring it with you. Carry it with you. It's now a part of who you are. You are now a survivor of domestic violence. Whether you're a child who's never been hit or beat, but even witnessing it, you're now a survivor of domestic violence. Carry it with you. Don't allow it to control you. Control it. Put yourself in that person's shoes and say, this will never happen to me, or I will never do that, or I may do some things different from here on out. Let me be a help to others to make sure that they don't do this to anyone.
I just really try to use common sense of helping my children deal with an unhealthy issue to create some healthy issues for them. And one of the methods I use, because we were all in trauma, if you want to call it a method, it was something that I just did because the children and I were both hurting. So one of the things I did was I only allowed 2 TVs in the house, one in my bedroom and one in the family room, because I learned when people are hurting, they tend to separate. But children love TV. So I kept the TV in the family room so we all would have to gather together in the family room and be in one place with all our pain and have to deal with each other the best way we knew how.
I'm the child advocate here, so when they first come in, I have to do an assessment with them, and their parent is actually present, the first assessment that I do. After that, I just kind of get a feel of how they were exposed to it, what they've seen, and then I bring the children in, and I meet with them one-on-one and meet them where they are. You know, it's more of, okay, I'm going to give you a coloring book depending on their age. They're coloring, and I'm just asking questions, like, tell me about your relationship. What other avenues do I have to take? Do they need anger management? Do they need play therapy? Do they need just somebody that they can trust and they can talk to? I have a teenager here now who comes to me almost every day. And it's beneficial to her and me because I'm learning about what she's been exposed to, how she's dealt with it. And I bring other teenagers in who are maybe younger, a little bit younger than she is, and I hear them talking with each other. I kind of separate them in groups. I do individual, we do play therapy, we do playing video games, playing games, decision-making skills, anything that I can do that will better them to kind of take them out of that negative element.
Kids will always find many different outlets to express their feelings when witnessing abuse. These outlets don't necessarily mean a child will possess negative behaviors.
The 2014 football season is quickly approaching. Don't want to wait in line? Purchase your season tickets today. Single seats starting at only $8 and season seats starting at $55. You can order tickets online at ssuathletics.com, by phone, mail, or in person at SSU Athletics ticket office in Tiger Arena. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Sav State Tigers. We know how much you love Tiger football, so don't hesitate to buy those season tickets. Get them before they sell out. See you at the 50-yard line.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, ricochet. You take your aim, fire away, shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. Shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium.
Don't wait until the flowers start blooming to get motivated. Spring break is right around the corner, so let's get those bodies in shape. Beach bodies are made in the winter so you can show them off in the summer. Come on up to Wiley Wilcox or Tiger Arena and tighten up those glutes and abs. Remember, if you take care of your body will take care of you.
If you're looking to have a great time, Savannah's nightlife is back, calling all SCAD, Armstrong, and Savannah State students to the hottest bar in the city. Dosha Lounge is open 6 days a week until 3 a.m. Yes, I said it, 3 a.m. Bright lights, comfortable couches, and a cool atmosphere. Did we mention the full Top Chef bar with reasonable prices? Happy hour, 4 to 8, Monday through Friday. So come see us at 128 East Broughton Street today. We'll have a shot waiting for you. Over the years, domestic violence has become a serious public issue. Like other issues, violence against women can and does affect everyone, even those who are the abusers.
I see domestic violence as a physical dispute between loved ones, family, or friends, and it gets extremely physical and touchy and violent.
Domestic violence is when two people in a relationship, they abuse each other, whether physically, mentally, vocally. It's a group of things, but it always comes down to abuse. It's just abuse.
I think domestic violence is, of course, the arguing that leads to fighting, and I think it affects society because, like, sometimes women, from a woman's perspective, sometimes women grow up with abusive fathers and then abusive cousins and brothers, and they see that, and then later on in their relationship, sometimes they might meet a guy that's not even like that, and they're so used to domestic violence that if they have a guy that's nice and loving to them, it might come off as they're weak or not capable of handling a woman. So I feel like domestic violence can definitely throw off the intellect of a woman and what she should expect out of a man. And sometimes, a good man can come off as weak because another woman is prone to domestic violence.
Domestic violence, in my words, is within the home violence. It can be either male against female, female against male. Anytime, you know, physical action takes place. It can also be violent. I mean, verbal. A lot of times, some of that violence it can actually start verbal, and then that's usually how it matriculates into physical.
I believe domestic violence will affect society because it can cause mental pain, emotional pain, and that person will go out into society and they're giving nothing but pain.
It sets a bad example for those who look up to athletes, whether male or female, and it creates a poor precedent. We don't need athletes beating their wives or husbands.
I think sports are affected whenever these situations are becoming public. A lot of times things are covered up, and the media doesn't really catch a hold to them for months or years later. At that point, that's when most of the punishment comes down, or people begin to really become affected by it, and it makes headlines. But other than that, people usually sweep things under the rug, and get away with a lot more than what is actually publicized. So.
I'm not sure how I feel how it affects sports. I don't think it affects sports per se as much as it may affect the bottom line of sports. So if we could speak from it, or if I can speak from it from that perspective, that would be great because the players who are majority men or men in the particularly if you're looking at the NFL. So if you're looking at a sport where there's majority men, it doesn't really affect them if they are the perpetrators because they can still get out on the field and do their job. If it's the victim who's in the sport, it may affect him or her in a way that they can't perform to their potential. Once again, they are always covering up. They have to hide the bruises if there are any, and always making up a story for why there is a bruise, and having the other players very concerned about their health. And so health issues around that is serious that the coaches may not know anything about of why they are underperforming.
Domestic violence is affecting sports in a very, very, depending on how you look at it, a very positive way. It's forcing people to acknowledge that their superstars, their role models, their celebrities are number one human, and number two, they're not as good of people as you thought they were. You can be 1,000-yard runner, but when you go home, you make a decision to abuse your spouse or significant other, male or female. You've now become totally a part of the problem. You no longer seen to me as who I thought you were yesterday. You're now a part of the problem. So I think overall domestic violence is affecting sports where it's not swept under the rug anymore. It's totally frowned upon, and you will be ridiculed if you think it's okay to by any stretch put your hands on or abuse physically, mentally, emotionally another person.
70% of women are killed when they are trying to leave or have left the abuser. So when people say, why does she stay? The question that needs to be asked is, why is he abusing her? We need to keep the accountability on the perpetrator who's creating or committing the violence and not doing the victim blaming in the same way when she's raped. Well, where was she? Why was she out so late? What was she wearing? That's not up to her. She didn't rape herself. The abuser raped her. And we need to ask, why did he rape her? Why did he feel the need that he can do that to her, or he could violate her body, or that it was his right to violate her body? So we really need to flip those kind of questions and in the way that we think about domestic violence or crimes against women. And we also need to understand that one of the largest groups of women who are victims of domestic violence are African American women. And that is a huge issue nationwide. More African American women are being killed by their intimate partners than anybody else, even though white women are the largest group of women who are being abused, but they're not being killed at a higher rate than African American women. So those are some of the issues we have to tackle. And when a woman leaves, 9 times out of 10 she goes straight into poverty when she leaves because she has nothing. And leaving is not easy, it's a process. And so we work with the woman from the perspective of 2 safety plans. One, if she chooses to stay, we devise a safety plan. And 2, if she chooses to leave, there's another type of safety plan that we do. So leaving is a process. It's not like you could just jump up one day and leave. People have a hard time leaving on good circumstances. So can you imagine to just up and leave in the middle of the night or the middle of the morning or however you can do it and leave everything you know and then ask life to say, okay, make a better life because you're not going to let her come live with you. So it's not that easy in leaving. And the last thing I guess I would like to say is that when a woman does leave an abusive partner, that doesn't mean the violence has stopped because now he may be stalking her. 9 times out of 10, that's what he's doing. He may be threatening to kill the kids. He may be threatening to kill himself. He may be calling her jobs 50 times a day to get her fired. He may be threatening to kill her family members. So there's a lot of other pieces that's going on even after she leaves.